560 mobile app, on your Alexa-powered smart speaker, and on TuneIn, iHeart, and on Odyssey. If you're looking for the latest news, insight into what it means, and the sharpest opinion, there's only one station in Chicago where you can turn, and it's this one. We're AM 560. The Answer.
Good intentions, bad decision. There's more fallout for our July 1st and 2nd NASCAR race through the downtown area. The Shedd Aquarium came out yesterday.
Yeah.
Are you ready for this? They could lose up to $3 million during the NASCAR street race because they're going to have to spend weeks before the event and then days after, even a few weeks, to break everything down.
Oh,
because their cars can't drive on our pavement, so they're going to change the pavement. And that stops people from going to the museum campus and go, because you can't park your car there, so you have to park somewhere else and then try to get through. So, Mayor Lightfoot did not think through this one, and she's not even going to be mayor anymore when the time of the event. With more on this and the hopes for the new mayor being Paul Vallas, let's welcome back to the program former Alderman Bob Fioretti, 2-term as the Chicago 2nd Ward Alderman and 2nd Ward Democratic Committeeman from 2008 to 2016. Good morning, Mr. Fioretti.
Hey, good morning. Good to be here.
Yeah, so what, this NASCAR, she didn't even get approval from the city council, right? This is just another dictator move?
She was signing documents and bringing it on. Absolutely another ridiculous idea that's fostered upon the people of the city and especially the downtown residents. There was no thinking behind it at this stage, and it's disrupting. I had to deal with the original times of Lollapalooza coming in and a lot of the festivals that we put into Grant Park, and dealing with the residents was a difficult situation, but this type I'm hearing just an outcry from every person north, south, and west of the area of Millennium Park, Grant Park. They are just 100% opposed to this idea. So no thinking went behind it, just the glory for the mayor. And again, if there was a way to undo it at this stage, I would hope the new administration takes a look at it and undoes that right now.
What kind of revenue? I mean, is this a big money fall for us to have NASCAR come here to do a race?
Well, we will probably, I don't know how many thousands, because I'm not sure it's going to be hundreds of thousands will come in here. It does help the hotel industry, but the boost in the economy won't be that much here.
Yeah.
Because it's going to deprive a lot of our own citizens from even getting into work during those weeks.
I mean, are they going to have a bridge over? Because they're not going to let us cross the streets because they're going to be reconstructing them, right?
I remember when we had the NFL draft here. It really impacted on what we did. And again, that was an idea that was pushed by Rahm, and he wanted it. But granted, it brought some recognition to Chicago, but the fallout for it was not enough to help revive the economic opportunities that we lost here.
All right. Before we talk about hopefully the future mayor, what did our current mayor, Mayor Lightfoot, what was her biggest mistake or mistakes why she didn't win the re-election?
She didn't want to talk to people. She was insulting. Let's think about, she on one hand she would reach out to President Trump, and on the other hand she'd give him the FU. Her attitude towards people was not something to build bridges for everybody.
Yeah, and don't forget she was the biggest, in town when she was dealing with the Italian-American community because they just want their Columbus statue back. And she said, I'll give it to you back. But why are you laughing, John Anthony? But she said she's the biggest schlong in town, but she didn't say the schlong word.
The fake.
This is fake. I mean,
She said something, and we all know what it was. So,
right. But, I mean, that's no lady, huh? I mean, that's guy talk. She's trying to be too tough.
She had an attitude that she came into that she had to fight everybody. And yes, she was trying to do some reform items, but she sitting down and talking to people would have been a lot better than the day that she was inaugurated. And I was in the Wintrust Stadium at the time, and then she turned around and basically insulted all 50 of the aldermen. And how does she come across and try to heal that? By creating more committees and creating a bigger government, allowing more aldermen to become chairs of more committees instead of getting down to the work that's needed to help our citizens, crafting a good budget, dealing with the crime issue, and dealing with the education here in this city.
And Brandon Johnson will only make it 100 times worse.
And she really had. I had heard a statement shortly after she was elected. Probably, she was sworn in May, and I think it was September, October that she was on the West Side, and she said, "I couldn't believe it was this bad." I mean, where was she during the campaign?
All right, so why are you supporting Paul Vallas?
I think Paul has a vision for the city. A vision on how to deal with crime, which he has come from and has had talked to so many police officers and so many victims of crime here in this city. How to deal with education. When he was head of the CPS, he knew what to do, helped elevate the scores, had a manageable budget, and made sure that families were inclusive in decisions in the schools. And then how to deal with the budget itself. Once we deal with the crime problem, let's say it is resolved miraculously on day one, but day two, the economic issues that we are facing in the city are going to be are very troublesome. We're running out of COVID money. 18 months to 2 years, we're out of COVID money. I think Paul knows how to craft budgets. I've seen him do it in the past. I've known Paul. We talk often, and I have confidence in the type of budget that he will manage for all of the city. Our budgets are really a moral document for everybody to make sure that we deal with the problems that are facing citizens, that we make sure our taxes are low, that we're inclusive, that we attract economic opportunities, we attract businesses. Paul is the kind of leader that can do that.
And John has a question.
No, but do you think which candidate for Mayor, Vallas or Brandon, would be able to bring back that business sector back to State Street, even Michigan Avenue?
I mean, it's what happened to our city. We look like Detroit.
Exactly.
I don't know if a lot of your listeners look. I have an office right next to the Sears Tower. I walk down Wells Street. It's a vacancy upon vacancy. State Street from I'll call it Congress, the Ida B. Wells, all the way to Lake. Again, another one that's vacancy after. We can talk about the Mag Mile, but Paul is going to encourage businesses to come back in. You do it by good policing, making sure we have safe streets and strong communities. And Paul is the type of leader that can do that. Brandon, on the other hand, has a vision that, let's keep right on taxing people. Brandon's smooth. He's been around the block a bit. He's an organizer, as we all know, for CTU unions. But he doesn't want to. He'll tax the hotels. I can't remember what the numbers are on his taxing program.
Right,
on the
wants to increase the hotel tax.
Both hotel and motels. He wants to bring back the head tax. These are kind of items that will destroy the city at this point.
Yeah, it'll kill businesses. Why would you open a store in Chicago if you have to pay an extra a head tax for every employee who works at your place? That's not going to attract anybody to State Street or to Michigan Avenue.
And let alone look what's happening at 26th Street right now. They're trying to push out all the small businesses there. After Michigan Ave, 26th Street becomes one of the economic engines for this city, and we need to help promote that. Across the board, I've gone from one end of the city to the other, and I see the destructive effects of high taxation on small businesses as they leave this city, and they either move to the suburbs or they're moving to Indiana just to make a living for their families and friends.
Hey, Bob. One of the things the left is so masterful at is defining terms, giving it weight, and then attacking their opponent. I saw that Paul Vallas got attacked for liking racist tweets. I looked at the tweets. One of them was talking about Lightfoot calling her Larry. The other one was talking about stop and frisk.
Yeah, but that was somebody on his campaign who had access to his Twitter who liked that.
Even if Paul himself liked it, they're not racist tweets. What should Paul do to get beyond that? Because you see the ad right now. It's been playing. I think I've seen it like 6 or 7 times.
I know.
That ad right there. What should Paul do to get beyond that tweet?
Well, I'm going to tell you, one person who I've known for a number of years, and I've worked with, and I lived in his district when I lived down in Pullman, was former Senate President Emo Jones, Jr., who just endorsed him.
Yeah.
Emo Jones would not endorse anybody that has even a small smidgen of racist bone in their body. And, we've had almost, I think, 20 aldermen now that have endorsed him, and from anywhere from Emma Mitz on the far west side to Michelle Harris, Anthony Beale. Come on. Anybody that believes that nonsense, and I hope they view it as nonsense, will say, wait a minute, that's not Paul Vallas, you know it, and start responding rapidly against it.
Yeah, I've known Paul for a very long time. Never have I ever seen any racist bone in this guy's body. No. Ever. So that's a complete lie.
Unite Chicago. Yes. I mean, I think that he would reach out to the progressives. He'd reach out to Republicans. He'd, try and unite us.
Yeah.
I hate the
the one thing that you have to talk about when you look at it is we need safe streets and strong communities. I don't think Brandon Johnson can do that. Paul has the leadership ability to do that. He's been in and out of the trenches often, doing the things that are right for our citizens, our students, the parents here. I'm glad that the FOP and the firefighters unions have both endorsed him. It shows strong support of a community that wants safe streets and strong communities, and that's what I believe Paul will bring back.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there for today. Bob Fioretti, former alderman and Democratic committeeman, thank you so much for joining us, and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Make sure we get out and vote, because
that's key. And
that is key.
The
and if we don't
runoff
have
is during spring break, so
yeah, absolutely.
I'm voting early for the first time in my life.
All right, we'll do it, and we'll see you then.
Okay. All right. Thank you, and convince others to get out and vote. But Bob Fioretti joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Folks, when